Are you a new player or returning veteran to City of Heroes and wanting to know more about the Stalker class or get a refresher course on it? I'm Controlled Chaos, and in this video, I'm going to go over the Stalker class. Let's go ahead and get started. First off, the Stalker is like an assassin in D&D. They are very stealthy and can do a lot of damage in one hit. It's a great class to have. It's a lot like the Scrapper that I did in the previous video in power sets of primary and secondaries. However, there are a few differences, and the main differences is they've taken out some of those attacks and replaced them with a few new attacks and abilities. The first thing that they've done that you get at level 6 is called Assassination. This is a high damage ability and works great. The second thing that they took out is they took out another attack and replaced it with Palette, and this ability allows you to re-stealth yourself, and that's really cool. Now in the secondary, what they've done is they've replaced one of the powers with a hide ability, and it is your first ability that you get. And this ability is great because what it does is it puts you in a stealth. And it's at level 1 that you get this ability, which is really nice because you're able to go high level areas and roam around, look around. Every so often they can see through it and they'll attack if you stand around for too long and they're too high a level. But that's okay. What's really great about the hide ability and adds a bonus to it is the fact that your first attack while your hide is working is a critical. Now, once you've done that first attack, you will become visible and get attacked, of course. After a while of not being attacked and not being in combat, you will go back into that stealth form and be hidden again. The other great thing about the hide is that it does have uses for the enhancements slots. You can enhance it with more defense or more regeneration depending on what power set you choose. So this makes the class really strong and really weak at the same time. You're not going to have as much survivability as the Scrapper does because you don't have the full defensive and damage output that the Scrapper has because of taking away some of those attacks and replacing them with other attacks. But the great thing about this is you can take out yellow and orange mobs, sometimes even lieutenants, if you put in the enhancements right on the assassination ability. You can literally walk up to a lieutenant that is yellow or orange and one hit kill them, which is great. And I love the Stalker for this. There are so many games that I play where they say you're an assassin, and yet when you go to backstab the enemy, you take a little bit more damage off of them than your normal attacks, but you don't outright kill them. There are very few games that actually let you fully take out your enemy when you're playing as an assassin. The ones I remember the most are Conan the MMO, which the assassin in there, you could assassinate people, but the stealth was more a sneaking around, being in the shadows. It didn't actually hide you, so you couldn't be in front of them, so you had to be more careful. Another good one is the Elder Scrolls games, even Elder Scrolls Online. You could join the Black Brotherhood and you get this assassination dagger and you can assassinate people. It takes them out right out. And that's really cool. So it gives you that feel and that power of being an assassin, which a Stalker does great. And I love it. I love playing the Stalker for this reason. Now, like I said, the survivability is not quite there. But the great thing is with that palace, you can actually make one of the enemy forget that you're there, and you can re-stealth yourself, and you can run away and get yourself back at combat and re-stealth and go back in there fresh. So you really have to have more of a tactical mind when fighting the enemy in this. You're not just gonna jump in there and then take on 10 mobs. You're gonna jump in there, take on the 10 mobs, but after a mob or two, you're gonna want back out. You're gonna want to re-stealth and jump back in there. And if you play it smart, you can actually do things in a really great way, because one of the great things that the assassination ability does is it can add a chance of fear onto your enemies, where they will not hit as strong, or they just will not attack and they'll panic, which is great. I love that they put this into the game, because that is something that would happen. If you see someone just right out one hit get killed right in front of you, you would freak if you didn't know immediately where it came from, or the person just appeared and then boom, your ally is taken out. And that's really cool. Now I want to move on to the different types of power sets that you have in this. As I mentioned, they're a lot like the scrappers. So you get the scrappers primaries and secondaries with those few differences that I mentioned. So you get things like ninjutsu, dual blades, you get psychic, and spines for your primary and attacks. For your defensive, you get things like invulnerability, regeneration, fire aura, and stuff like that allows you to have your defenses. However, you do not get the area of effect dots that you get in the fire damage. And I think that's a smart move by the developers, because with this kind of character, you're not meant to be in there taking out a bunch of enemies at once. You're meant to jump in there, take an enemy out, maybe fight another, jump back out, wait to re-stealth, jump back in, take out the enemy. You're meant to pick people off, and that's really nice. Now, speaking of picking people off, you work great in groups, especially if you don't draw aggro, because what you can do is you can jump in there, take out another target that everyone else isn't working on, and then jump back out of combat, and then wait for your stealth to pop back up, which we'll talk about how to make that work quicker. And then you can jump in and take out another enemy, and you can do really cool tactical flanking type maneuvers while everyone else is fighting. And you can also help out people. Like, let's say for instance the healer gets jumped by an enemy. Instead of the tank having to run all the way back there, fight that enemy off, you could run over there, use your assassination ability, and boom. The other great thing about the assassination ability is while you're using your abilities, it can add a circle around it, and if it has that circle around the assassination ability, and you hit the assassination ability even out of stealth, it will crit when that orange circle is around it, which is really, really nice. It adds that extra effect of you don't have to be stealth to do an assassination, but you have to wait for the right timing. So it gives you multiple tactical options, which is really cool. Let's move on to enhancements. Enhancements, I recommend that you definitely want to focus on the assassination. You want to put the 3 accuracies on it and the 3 damages on it as quickly as you possibly can. It is your highest attack damage out there, because of having the hide with the crit, with the assassination being high damage and critting. You can really devastate stuff really, really good. With the other ones, once you've done the assassination, having that built up that way, then you want to build up the other ones that way too, for your defensive stuff, for your regeneration and stuff like that. You want to focus on the heal ones healing you up. You want to focus on your defensive ones, adding in those defensive buffers. If it's a toggle, you want to make sure that you put endurance reductions on there. If it is a click and it goes, and it has a long refresh rate, you want to put time reductions on those. You want to keep your defenses up as much as possible, because without those defenses, you are fairly weak. But it is a nice way of doing things. Same with your attacks. You want to do as much damage in one hit as possible, which is why you want those accuracies so that you're landing your hits, and you want that damage so you're doing as much damage as possible. You are a damage dealer. You are not a glass cannon, but you are a cannon. You are a one-hit wonder, and it is amazingly fun to play this class. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that subscribe button. If you're not subscribed and you want to see more videos like this, have a great day.